Today is Tuesday, September 10th. Good morning from the Civic Media News Desk. I'm Joanne Krulotz. Yesterday morning around 8:10, the Sauk County Sheriff's Office was notified that a body was located washed up on a sandbar in the Wisconsin River, approximately 2 miles downriver from where a swimmer from Richland Center was reported missing September 1st. With assistance from the Spring Green Police Department and the Spring Green Fire Department, the body of a male was recovered from the river by the Sauk County Sheriff's Office. The Sheriff's Office is working to positively identify the man and make notifications to family. His name will be released at a later time. Today, we take a final look at the feasibility study done by Venture Architects of the Richland campus. Kyle Knoth, a Venture Architect, shared that perhaps the building in the best condition on the campus is the gymnasium building. The building also serves as the central utility plant.
It has a lot of the same issues. Again, it's kind of a common theme throughout here. A lot of the same issues as the other buildings, just because it's the same day, it's being maintained the same way. I would say the pieces that are different with this, it has this massive athletic floor, and the floor is in just extremely good condition. That's a very difficult thing to keep maintained as that way. And we checked out all of the lockers and that. Those are all in really good condition. Where there was some issue were the doors between the north side of the building, between the gym and the Simon Center. And again, those doors are in really, really bad condition. And our understanding in looking at how the flooring was inside those doors and the steps on the way down is that there must have been some kind of, well, there are a couple of things. Again, heavy salt use, which that is something that has to happen for safety. We recognize that. But then that's melting a lot of water. We get a warm day in winter or in spring. That water then comes in up to the door. The weather stripping hasn't been addressed. Water's coming in under the door. It's going onto the floor, down the steps. Did not get to the athletic floor, thankfully, but was addressed in a later way. That was not a single incident that happened. That had been happening a number of times, and I think as that weather stripping on the door goes away, the threshold goes away, it just becomes exposed to any kind of water that comes through there.
Venture Architects found that the building would function well for athletic and training purposes. The renewal cost of the gymnasium building and central utility plant is $1.89 million, with a replacement cost of $9.7 million. Venture Architects also did a feasibility study on the Richland County Courthouse and Health and Human Services buildings. Boosted by strong scores and metrics measuring public service and an improved score in social mobility, the University of Wisconsin-Madison is ranked first among national public universities and 12th overall in Washington Monthly's 2024 College Guide and Rankings. Last year, UW was ranked second among national public universities and 11th overall in rankings. Washington Monthly says it rates schools based on what they do for the country. The rankings are based on a school's contribution to the public good in 3 categories: social mobility, research, and providing opportunities for public service. UW-Madison dropped 1 in the rankings for public service and research. It was ranked 7th in public service, which looks at AmeriCorps and Peace Corps participation among alumni. ROTC participation, the percent of federal work study funds spent on service, community engagement, voter engagement, and the percent of grads with service-oriented majors. It was 18th in research. UW-Madison was 42nd overall for social mobility, up from 62nd last year. UW-Madison also ranked 12th in the Midwest, up from 21st last year. In Washington Monthly's Best Bang for Your Buck rankings, a list of schools ranked based on how well they help non-wealthy students attain marketable degrees at affordable prices. In net price of attendance for families below $75,000 income, UW ranked 16th overall. UW-Madison ranked 7th in research expenditures. Other national rankings include 7th in AmeriCorps Peace Corps participation, 10th in the number of science and engineering PhDs awarded, and 30th in faculty accolades. The Wisconsin Supreme Court is hearing a case brought by a conservative activist who is seeking guardianship records in an effort to find ineligible voters. The case being heard today is the latest attempt by those who questioned the outcome of the 2020 election to cast doubt on the integrity of elections in the swing state. Former travel agent Ron Hewer and a group he leads, the Wisconsin Voters Alliance, want to force counties to release records filed when a judge determines that someone is incompetent to vote so they can be compared to the voter registration list. The Wisconsin Supreme Court, controlled by liberal justices, is unlikely to issue a ruling before the November election. The $34 million will help Wisconsin airports. The $34 million federal funding from the Federal Aviation Administration program that provides grants for the planning and development of public use airports and improvements related to enhancing airport safety, capacity, security, and environmental concerns. Projects receiving funding include nearly $3 million to expand the terminal building at the Appleton International Airport and almost $6 million to rehab paved taxiways at Dane County Regional Airport. Funding for the upgrades comes from the Tammy Baldwin-backed government funding bill. Baldwin faces Republican challenger Eric Hovde in a race for Senate this November. Wisconsin deer hunters should consider testing their deer for chronic wasting disease. Aaron Larson is deer herd health specialist with Wisconsin DNR. CWD testing remains a priority for the agency, with sampling available statewide. DNR has priority areas that agency staff are especially interested in receiving samples from the help further understand disease levels and distribution. Whether to consume deer that test positive is a personal choice, but Larson notes agencies that specialize in human health, like the CDC or the World Health Organization, don't recommend consuming a deer that tests positive from CWD. Larson says hunters are also asked to report any sick or dead deer they encounter. Find out more on the DNR website, dnr.wisconsin.gov. A high-tech boat outfitted with sonar and cameras is trying to solve the mystery of a 1968 plane crash that killed 3 people in Michigan's Lake Superior. Seat cushions and pieces of stray metal have washed ashore over decades in the Upper Peninsula, but the wreckage of the plane and the remains of the 3 men have never been found. An autonomous vessel is in the Lake Superior this week. Boats from Michigan Tech University are also involved. The effort is being organized by a coalition of government agencies, universities, and others interested in autonomous technologies. 3 men were pulled from Lake Mendota in Madison after their boat sank over the weekend. Madison fire crews had to rescue the men on Sunday after they forgot to put the bilge plug back in the boat before heading onto the water. 2 other boats were already helping rescue the men as the fire crews arrived. No one was seriously injured. The boat will remain in the water for now until it can be lifted back to shore. Life in prison for a Madison man convicted of killing a toddler. Online court records show Marshawn Giles was sentenced last week to life without the possibility of release. Giles was found guilty of over a dozen charges, including first-degree intentional homicide and first-degree child sexual assault. The 20-month-old girl was found dead in April 2022 when Madison police entered an apartment. An autopsy found the child suffered skull fractures and blunt force injuries consistent with sexual assault. Dane County jurors rejected a defense plea of not guilty for reason of insanity to some of the charges against Giles during his trial earlier this year. The Wisconsin Department of Transportation is hosting a public involvement meeting for the Wisconsin 130-133 Bridge Replacement Project today from 4:30 to 6 at the Lone Rock Community Building. This event gives you an opportunity to learn more about the upcoming Wisconsin 130 closure, preparations to open the new bridges to traffic, and demolition of the old bridges. The meeting will have an open house format. You are welcome to attend at your convenience. If you have any questions, contact Greg Brecka, Wisconsin DOT Project Manager, by phone at 608-245-2671 or by email at gregory.brecka, that's BRECKA, @dot.wi.gov.